celebrating 11 years of possibility. Pilot Flying J and Halloran Hilton Hill present Anything is Possible. Today's guest, Nate Evans.
Welcome to Anything is Possible. My guest today is Nate Evans. And when you came on the radio show, we had such a good time. I didn't want to stop. You didn't want to stop. I'm like, I made a new best friend. Nate Evans, you would know him. Let me just kind of give you some of the highlights, and then we'll get into our conversation. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, former lead singer for The Impressions for almost 20 years, selected by Original Temptations lead singers Eddie Kendricks and David Ruffin and Dennis Edwards to join the group. He's been around the world. He owns the Nate Evans Theater in Pigeon Forge. He has Nate Evans and the Temptations Review. He was in the movie Life as the bartender, and now the pinnacle of his career. He is on Anything is Possible. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, man.
I wanted to say right off the top, there's something that I do just about every day, just about every day. I rarely miss. In the space of about 3.5 years, I lost my mom and my dad, and my anchor point is my sister. We talk just about every day, and I know that you recently lost your sister.
Just a few days ago.
And I just wanted to tell you that my thoughts and prayers are with you, and I know that that's when you have to carry on and you reach back to feel the side of the pool and there's no side there anymore. That's a difficult thing. And I understand that you found out right before you were about to perform at the Bellagio in Vegas. Talk me through how, see, here's the thing about being a professional. The show goes on.
Tell me about it. It definitely goes on. They came to me and I was at the Bellagio and I got a phone call from my son-in-law, and he told me, he said, Nate, he said, she's gone. And that was heavy, you know. I knew she was very sick and tired of going through what she was going through, you know. But I don't know how I felt. I felt
numb.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Could you feel her with you though as you were performing that night?
All I thought about was her. Was her, because my son plays with me, Nate Jr., he plays with me on keyboard, and we were having a sound check that day, you know, after I found out everything, you know, and I'm walking back and forth across the stage, just trying to figure out how am I going to do this show tonight. But when you have other people dependent on you, you know, and I knew my sister would have told me, get out there and do that show, boy, you better get out there and sing. So we got through it. It was very difficult, but I sang for her. At least I just pretended she was sitting there, and I went on with the show. And then I just got back. In fact, I just got back last night from the funeral.
Well, I'm very grateful that you would come and spend this time to talk about possibility. Your life is a story of possibility, and we honor your sister on this broadcast today.
Thank you very much.
Gary, Indiana. And that was 6 chuckles. I'll just say Gary, Indiana, and just step back out of the way and let you run with it. What was it like growing up in Gary, Indiana? You know, the Jackson 5 came from Gary, Indiana.
You telling me? Gary was well, it was, it was different. You know, it was a lot of entertainment there. Denise Williams, the Jackson 5. In fact, the Jackson 5 and I only lived a block from each other.
So you knew each other?
Oh, yeah. We were on talent shows together. Denise Williams was on the talent show, and so.
There was a lot of music, a lot of energy, a lot of creativity, a lot of rough stuff to deal with.
A lot of rough stuff.
But you made the decision in Gary, Indiana, that you wanted to be an entertainer. You wanted to be a singer.
Yeah.
Do you know when you made that decision?
Yeah, it was in 1958. I was at home, and I was watching American Bandstand. I liked singing anyway because I had already started singing old stuff, just singing for the heck of it, you know. But I was young, and I was 10, And Jackie Wilson came on American Bandstand. At that time, American Bandstand came out of Philadelphia, not out of Hollywood, and it was in black and white, you know, and it came on every day at 4 o'clock. So I run home to see who I could see on there, you know, black, basically, who I could see on Bandstand. And Jackie Wilson came on. Man, I saw the girls hollering and screaming, and he was sharp and had his hair slick, and he was just the deal. So I made the decision that day. I didn't want to play basketball, baseball. I want to be like Jackie Wilson.
What did he sing that day?
Lonely Teardrops, yeah. Lonely Teardrops.
Can you do a little bit of that?
Oh, man, I can't sing. Let me tell you something. The whole time, my whole career, when I was with bands and singing tunes, I never sang a Jackie Wilson song.
You didn't touch those?
No, Jackie Wilson, man, was another kind of thing. You had to do more than sing, man. You had to have the charisma. You know, you had to have the moods. You had to have everything. The person that I liked him a lot. Michael Jackson really liked him.
Really?
You know, he liked him, and him and James Brown. James Brown, Jackie Wilson, and Joe Tex. That's who Michael liked.
He made his pattern off of that.
Yeah.
All right. So you see Jackie, and you decide, I want that, because you wanted the life.
Yes.
But you also loved music, and you wanted to marry the two. In our previous conversations, though, you also had a great sense about business. You wanted to be in the business. You were going to be a leader and that kind of thing. So when did you decide, hey, it's time to hit the stage, it's time to make this happen?
When I was 14, I was doing talent shows. And you know, when you're doing talent shows, you're young, and some of the girls that didn't even look at you, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, you got some new clothes on and you on stage. Now they're hollering and screaming for you. Girl, you tried to talk to her yesterday, she wouldn't even talk to you. And now she want to talk. So, you know, we were having fun, you know. And that's how I started, you know. That was just the way I started. I wanted to make a business out of it, but that was much later when I realized I had to get into the business if I wanted it to happen properly, because the people who were in charge were going a different direction than my head.
Yeah.
You know?
Why don't we take a break and come back? I want to talk about you stepping into the business, because you've had an incredible career. You have a theater in the area, and by the way, you've got 3 buckets of swag on you at all times.
Oh, man.
In buckets. I'll tell you that right now. My guest is Nate Evans. You're watching Anything is Possible.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel. Coming up.
When I got there, I sing just a little bit. Just a little bit, I'd sing just a little bit of the song. They stopped me in the middle of the song, told me the job was mine.
Welcome back to Anything is Possible. I'm Halloran Hilton Hill, and my guest is Hall of Fame inductee, Nate Evans from Gary, Indiana. 14 years old, you decide this is what you want to do, but you realize you better get serious. Tell me about how you started singing in groups and how it started to unfold.
At 14, when I got involved in the talent shows, you know, it was just a thing to do for me. I didn't like basketball. I didn't come home from school and change clothes and go play basketball. I didn't do that. I turned on American Bandstand, you know, because that's what I wanted to do. And Sunday nights, it was Ed Sullivan, because somebody might be on there, you know, preferably the Temptations or James Brown or Jackie Wilson or somebody, you know, that we could, you know, so that's the way I started. Then I kept going, and I became a promoter, a concert promoter. When I was about 18, I got a job in the steel mill in Gary, but I didn't want to work in the steel mill, so what I did, I would wait till I got me a check. Because to work in the steel mill, to get in the union, you got to work 30 days. I never made 30 days. And you know, we got steel mills. I worked in all the steel mills, but I never got 30 days. But after I got me a check, then I would book an artist out of Chicago, which was 30 miles away from Gary, Indiana.
Right.
And they would come over to the clubs in Chicago, and then I would get them to come over to Gary on a Monday night after they spent the weekend in Chicago. And I'd have enough money to bring them over to the Elks Club, and that's how I got started. And I put myself as the opening act, so people would see me.
And now, Nate Evans welcomes Nate Evans.
Well, he tries anyway.
So how did that though build into the Impressions and the Temptations? How do we?
Well, how that happened, as I said, being a promoter, I managed a couple clubs, you know, been entertainment director, you know, because I knew all the acts, because I lived in Gary, but I was in Chicago with all the guys, you know, all the R&B guys, Tyrone Davis and Johnny Taylor, all the guys that was happening at Jerry Butler, the main guy, you know, which we call the Iceman. And after I met Jackie Wilson in person, when I think I was, 21, I met Jackie. And man, I was so elated, you know, to know this guy, man. He was just the guy. And he and I became friends. I was still promoting shows. I put him on the show in Gary. I first asked him to come and told him, his manager started laughing at me when I told him how much I wanted to pay him. They just started laughing.
Which was how much?
Well, I thought $500 would be good, you know. I mean, you know, that was a lot of money, $500. But they were so busy laughing at me, you know. But he decided to come and help me. He didn't come for the $5. He decided to come because we were doing what we call, I was doing what we call Soul Train Night,
right,
where you come over to Gary and you just sing with your record in front of a crowd instead of on television.
Right.
Don Canillas and I were good friends at that time, and he had Soul Train on Channel 26. And I was on that and just watched the way he was doing, and that's how I got started. When Jackie Wilson got sick, they were supposed to do some things for him, you know, the Spinners, Barry White, Bobby Womack, but nobody seemed to be moving fast enough for me because I really wanted to help. So his wife called me one day and said they were having some bad financial situations. So the Staple Singers, because I lived in Chicago, the Staple Singers, Tyrone Davis, Walter Jackson, Jerry Butler, and the Impressions. I call all the top names in Chicago, the Charlites, to let's come together and do this thing for Jackie. They all agreed except the Impressions, because Curtis Mayfield was leaving the group.
Wow.
And they were looking for another singer. So one of the guys told me, he said, man, why don't you audition? I said, for the Impressions, I've never sang with a group before. He said, it doesn't matter, they need somebody, you know, and they're auditioning guys. So why don't you give it a shot? So when I talked to the Impression, they told me that Curtis was gone and they were auditioning guys. So I asked him, you know, if I could come and audition. He said, well, you know, we just about picked the guy we wanted. You know, we've already been through 36 guys, you know. He said, we got 2 more, but we think we've picked who we want already. But they hadn't heard me, you know. So, and this is a true story. So when he told me to come, the day I was supposed to go, I think 2 weeks before I would go, we had a hi-fi. You remember the long hi-fis? Yeah. I sit on the couch next to the hi-fi, and I learned every Impression record that I could think about. I knew every Impression record. For 2 weeks, that's all I did was Impression. Night and day, in the middle of the night, I was singing, writing it down, singing it. And when I got ready to go over there that day, my friend, Don, he says, you ready? I said, yeah. He said, we gotta get a drink. Well, I didn't drink. So he said, well, I'm gonna get one for me and you, you know. So he drank them both. We went to Chicago. When I got there, I sang just a little bit. I'd sing just a little bit of the song. They stopped me in the middle of the song, told me the job was mine.
What did you sing?
You Are My Sunshine.
Just a little,
oh Lord.
just a little bit.
You Are My Sunshine is a record that was first done by the OJs.
Right.
Now, you know how loud Eddie is.
Right.
And so for me to sit here and belt out You Are My Sunshine, let me tell you, it's loud.
I don't care.
All right.
I don't care.
How do you really, you know, this is something I definitely had planned to do.
I know you did.
It's the song that says, you're the sweetest thing I know. That's enough. You get the idea, you know, because it's loud. You know,
I didn't want you to stop. That's good. That's good.
I said, we say, you're the sweetest thing I know. You make my rainbow glow. I mean, you know, it was just out there. You know, you just had to have that power And Fred came, he said, stop right now. He said, how you learn to sing like that? I said, well, just practicing, because I'd been around singing a long time. And he said, man, the job is yours. He said, do you drink? I said, no. He said, do you smoke? I said, no. He said, what do you do? I said, I sing. And that's what I've been doing, because I never smoke, I never drink, I never.
None of that?
Never.
In that industry?
In this industry, I'm 64 years old. I never had a cigarette. Never. Never had what you call a cigar. Never had, I know what whiskey tastes like. I've never drank though, I never drank beer, whiskey, wine. Didn't want to get into any of that. I just wanted to sing.
Let's take a break, we'll come back. That's native. Should I try? No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not even gonna mess with it. You're watching Anything Is Possible, just not that.
Coming up.
And something tells me, said, listen, man, look at your background singers. So I'm looking over there, I'm looking at David Ruffin,
wow,
Eddie Kendricks, and Dennis Edwards.
We started clapping. We wanted him to continue during the break, but then he said, it's going to cost you more than $500. This is Nate Evans. Welcome back to Anything Is Possible. Let's talk. So you audition your way into the Impressions.
Yes.
And then you have a near 20-year run with them.
Yeah.
But how do you end up in the Temptations?
Well, being with the Impressions all those years, I knew everybody. I just already knew everybody. So Eddie Kendricks left the Temptations, David Ruffin left, and Dennis Edwards left. And when they decided to come back together as a Temptation, Eddie called me one night. I was in California. He called me. He said, we were talking, because we hung out together all the time. He and myself and Ollie Woodson, we all hung out. He said, you want to join the Temptations? And I just kind of started laughing, I said, what Temptation? He said, you and me and Dennis Edwards. And then he hesitated, he said David Ruffin, because he knew when he said David. So he said, and David Ruffin. I said, well, I just started laughing, I said, how you gonna keep David cool, in check? He said, I can handle David, don't worry about David. So I agreed, and got with them, and we.
What was that like?
David's life is a public record. He was a great entertainer.
Right.
But he just did his life the way he
did. What was it like being with the Temptations? Was that
that was great. We went so many places, and standing up. And one night I'm on stage, and I'm singing a song called "Don't Look Back" that Paul Williams actually led. Because when I got in the group, I was doing his stuff, and. I'm standing and people are hollering. One night and I look back and something tells me, said, listen, man, look at your background singers. So I'm looking over there, I'm looking at David Ruffin,
wow,
Eddie Kendricks, and Dennis Edwards. And I'm thinking to myself, you coming on with it, There's some crazy people, but they are who they are,
I wanna ask you, your life has a beautiful arc of possibility. At 14 years old, you watch American Bandstand, you see an icon, it gives you a desire to dream, to be something. God connects you to all the people you need to be connected to kind of move you to places that maybe you never even imagined. And I know you've learned a lot along the way about making dreams come true. But I want to say one name to you, and you just give me your first reaction. Rose. Rose.
My wife?
Yeah.
Well, Rose is the angel in my life.
I know it.
She's the angel in my life.
You know how I know it? She's here. She's backstage. And the way you introduced her when you squared up like you did something.
Well, she's in charge mostly, so she does her thing and I do my thing. On stage, I'm in charge.
Right.
When we come home, we have to talk about it,
You said you have your son working with you now.
Yes.
How many children do you have, and how many are connected to you in your enterprise?
I have 6 children. They're all grown, and the only one that's connected to the enterprise is Nate, because he's been playing with me for years. He's been all over the world with me.
What's it like to look back and see him, or look over and see him? You love it?
Great, yes, I do. One time he was sick, and he couldn't make it one night, and it was the only night he couldn't make it. And when I turned toward the keyboards and he wasn't there, it had an effect on me because I'm used to him being there.
Yeah, you need that. Talk to me about the movie.
Oh, the movie I've been working on a while. I've been working on the movie a while. It's a Jackie Wilson movie. We have a script ready. Personally, I want Blair Underwood. I think my wife wants Terrence Howard. But I like Blair. I told you got that Blair thing going.
Well, I'm saying I can't dance a lick. I can do the Cupid shuffle, but I can't dance a lick. But I could sing. Are you auditioning?
Well, no, not quite, but
okay, all right.
When we do,
we'll let you know. I've heard that one. We'll let
I'll
you
call
know.
you.
Yeah.
No, it would be a great story, Jackie. It's a story that needs to be told because there's so much people don't know about Jackie Wilson, and the kind of person that he was, But he's out of Detroit, and he died. I believe Jackie was 48 when he died.
Wow. Tell me what you've learned about success and possibility. If you were giving me advice.
The only thing I could say is keep trying. If you have a dream, you just keep trying. If you keep throwing something up, the old saying, if you keep throwing something up against the wall, something will stick, And I would say just keep at it. Just keep at it. If you believe in it, keep at it. If you don't believe in it, find something else to do. But I believed in this, and I think singing is a gift from God. When you see people sing so good, some people sing so good, it just make me sick.
Right. So bottom line is keep trying.
Don't ever stop.
I could talk to you forever. I love your spirit. I love who you are, and I wish you much success in the days ahead. It's been my pleasure to know you and to meet you. And when we get on set, it'll be great to spend that. Yeah, that 10 weeks or whatever it's going to take us to shoot.
Yes.
I accept your offer. Thank you for being on Anything Is Possible.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next time.